I don't want to get into it.
And ain't nobody gonna stop me.
Front yard both times.
Fucking bath towel boy over here.
Just in the background.
No. So I have a segment that I want to do, and this isn't it, but I have a segment I want to do every now and then to like get the brain warmed up, you know, to kick off the podcast.
Like brown cow, how now? Foul.
No, we want it to be entertaining. So.
So no. So not that.
So not that.
Yeah, I'll come back to
Unique New York.
But I'll explain that segment at another time. But I got a question for everybody, and I really need you to think about it and give me your answer. Okay, this is serious. Okay, it's going to sound like a joke, but it's serious. Because I laugh at everything.
All right, spit it out.
Okay. All right, so
Especially
you have the someone comes up to you and they offer you $10 million. Okay,
Deal.
There's $10 million in your hand.
What kind of question is this?
The only thing that comes along, the only stipulation that comes along with that $10 million for the rest of your life, a snail is chasing you. Now wait. The snail is chasing you. Its sole mission in its life is to find you and chase you. And it knows where you're at all times. If this snail touches you, you immediately die. You're gone.
All right.
Can you kill it?
You cannot kill it.
What?
You cannot alter it in any way. It's literally just constantly going to be chasing you. Okay?
Can it swim?
You can't box it up. You can't interfere with it in any way.
Can it come into your house? Like if I fucking shut the door, then it ain't coming in.
It's coming in. Okay?
How does it get through the door?
It's got the key, Brad.
Clearly, this is a rare snail.
It's fucking
And
rare as fuck.
the fact that you left the key under the mat again is your own fucking fault. All right.
Okay.
But do you take the $10 million knowing this snail is always after you and always knows where you're at? Or do you bypass the $10 million?
I'm going to start off and say yes, because if I got fucking caught by a snail, I deserve to die. And now I led a good life. So I can move 3,000 miles away, and that snail would take years to catch me.
He caught the next train, brother.
Wait, how fast is this snail? I mean, I guess, is this a super snail?
This snail, it doesn't. Here's the thing. You might move 3,000 miles away, right? But at some point, that snail's going to find you. You don't know when.
Yeah, but I'll step over it and move another 3,000
What
miles
if you're
away.
sleeping? What if you're sleeping and it just fucking comes in through the chimney like Santa? Spoiler, kids.
Then I had 50 years before it got to me, and I had a good life.
Yeah. What happens if you move to fucking Australia?
That's what I was saying.
Well, then there's a whole bunch other critters you got to worry about in Australia.
Yeah, fucking massive spiders. Fuck. Never going there.
It's going to show up. It's going to show up at some point in Australia. That's
okay.
The point is you have this.
Do I want to be running my whole life?
You have a demon following you your entire life, and you never know if it's on your tail about to say night or you're free and clear. And you have to like live with that in the back of your brain your entire life. But you get $10 million.
What a rush.
I think the point is, if you live in fear of that snail coming to you, you're never going to actually live. And you're going to be scared of
on the run your whole life.
So if you just live normally, you're going to have a much more enjoyable life than you would have if that snail caught up to you and killed you. That 30 years that you lived before the snail just fucked you up in your sleep.
Yeah.
And somehow killed you.
Second of all, but I'm an athlete.
30 years.
I can fucking juke the fuck out of that snail for a minute.
You'd roll an ankle. But anyway,
you start hacking.
You were like wide receiver, great. You were a quarterback.
Well, yeah, but I still got moves, though. You know,
like Jagger.
Well, yeah, never tore my ACL.
I initially thought I would hire someone.
Why are you bringing ligaments into it?
Well, you know, I don't know either.
So like that snail tore my ACL.
I think I would just hire someone.
I don't know. I'd probably
to watch over me while I sleep, and then if that snail's there, wake me up so I can fucking move on.
Just have an alarm.
Hey, you could even slow pack and get away from the snail.
I mean,
You're on that side of the room, so I'll just go over here.
The snail's in the living room. You should probably get going.
I would probably just let it. I'd probably just not take it, not worry about it. I wouldn't want to be looking over my shoulder. Because what happens if you can't move? You don't want to move. You just move for 10 grand. What about fucking friends, family, all that shit? So probably leave in the dust. That's my answer.
But the same concept of it is like you always have a clock. Like you're not going to live forever. So you're going to die when you die. You don't know when you're going to die. Who knows if the snail's going to catch up to you in 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. Why worry about him? You don't know you could die tomorrow in a car wreck. You could die 50 years later. Just live it out.
All right.
And
new scenario. How about the snail is chasing all of us and we got 100 million? Do we go live it up forever until it fucking finds us or what?
Yeah, that's what I'd do. I'd go enjoy my time.
Yep.
So basically,
get crazy.
Not afraid of a snail.
Get crazy.
I would just
because you couldn't settle down anywhere. I mean, at least for like more than a few years. I mean, not that the snail's fucking fast, but still.
Yeah,
I think the cop-out answer for me is honestly, I would just hire someone to like be my fucking bodyguard when I sleep.
Yeah, but you said he can fucking climb through the door.
Yeah, he can do all sorts of crazy shit.
Yeah, who knows?
Snail can fly to Australia.
I'm not fucking hiring a blind deaf person. Like,
yeah, but what if he fucking falls asleep? Then
I'm not going budgetary like security guard here.
What if he woke
Paul
up
Blart isn't going to be watching my front door.
Well, I mean, you probably should hire Paul Blart because the guy knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he actually is pretty solid. That's actually a good idea.
Yeah.
But if you woke up and your bodyguard was dead, and all of a sudden you see snail sludge across him, you'd be like, "Oh fuck, he's here."
Then
you found me.
Fucking peanut blart and jelly.
No.
Blart and jelly, how are you?
I'm not sure I can let that one hit.
Not bad. All right, Steve, what do you got? What do you got for snail scenario? By the way, you push your camera up way.
I mean, I would take it because the snail is no different than death.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
It's the same concept. You have a snail chasing you already.
True, but I mean, if you took it right now, would you want to uproot your whole family to move them?
No.
To get away from the snail?
No. I mean, I'm not gonna uproot my whole family for anything unless it's betterment of them.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. Though. I mean,
snail chasing you.
If the snail's chilling in hometown, and then you just gotta run.
Well, you don't know. You have no idea. You could move right to where the snail is at.
Yep. And I think that's kind of the point.
I see what you're saying here. Okay,
so are you living your life? Are you living your life based on the fact that a snail is chasing you? So hiding from death, or are you living life fuller because you know that it's chasing you?
All right, maybe I'll change my answer because I thought he was like, "Hey, here's the 10 grand," and the snail's like right next to you while you take it. 10 million. My bad, 10 mil. And then you took it, and then he was. I thought it was like a race. Like, hey, I'm gonna take this, and then he was gonna right next to you. He's gonna start.
Well, I mean, if you're worried about a race with a snail, maybe you should move away, man.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, fuck. Sooner or later, he gets to climb through windows. Fucking's got the key under my mat. I mean,
so I say all that, but it's a theory.
Sooner or later, a car's gonna hit you.
It represents something.
Plane's gonna crash.
I was gonna say, Bug, do you have is there a moral to the story or a moral?
No, it's just it honestly is just a question to get the brain flowing, but then seeing how people interpret it. Like I first gravitated towards the joke of like it's a legit snail following me, and I would, like I said, hire a bodyguard and like watch over me. But I think, Steve's more on the representation is death, right? And it's supposed to be like, are you always going to live your life in fear? You have these people that, lock all their doors. They never see the day of light, and they, don't live life. And then all of a sudden, like, they die of
And then
something random. Yeah, right. So yeah, it was just like it's just like a weird little brain.
It's not bad.
To kind of just see how people interpret it. Yeah.
All right, not bad.
Well, did we pass or did we fuck up?
I don't think there's a right answer, to be honest.
Well, I mean, you guys know my fucking theory. Fucking one life.
He's really hung on to YOLO.
Ah, yes.
Listen, you don't say YOLO when it was said it. Say one life, all right.
I'm pretty sure I heard YOLO.
Well, same concept. Drake was on to something.
I love Drake.
Goddamn.
Not a big fan of snails.
No, not snails, but... buddy. Kidding me? Listen, I got my Glock behind my nightstand. Someone comes in. Done.
Oh, yeah.
Did you just hold it like a...
No.
Is that what you...
Well, I was going to go like this, but my mic was in the way, and I didn't want to like smash my mic.
Glock. I guess I don't know what a Glock is.
If you're dead, big man.
You can't afford it.
You can't afford that
one. You want a ZJ?
All right, bud. Fucking kick us off with this shit. All right. Pyramids or what? What's going
on
right. Here?
I think this is your one. This is yours to kick off. I want to see how this evolves. I'm pretty interested in this because we've had some serious topics, right? We've had some more like deeper discussions and serious, and this is one like it can be a much more lighthearted, fun, kind of easygoing.
Well, I think it will be because of theories.
It is, and the funny thing is, and I set this to myself to specifically bring it up
in
on
the future.
Yes,
I guess
but my wife was literally like, "I'm great." So,
what I can talk to about this
myself tomorrow.
But the pyramids, right?
Yeah.
If you look at how they were made, if you look at the mass, and like there was a recent, this isn't what I sent myself in the future or the past, but like they recreated trying to make just one block that goes into a pyramid, and it took like however man like forever, like months to make or something ridiculous. I don't know the exact metric.
Just the base of it?
Just like one block to like carve it out, like to get it out of like, a mountainside or something, wherever they farmed it from. Right.
Yeah.
And it's like, and they were using potentially ancient tools, like nothing near
sticks and stones,
what we have today. Yeah. So
garbage. And they're like all perfectly smooth, like fucking 90-degree angles. And the motherfucker is set. The base of it is 750 feet. Perfect square. Not one thing misaligned. Not even a smidge off. Not even a little bit. And the motherfucker goes up 450 feet in the air. Doesn't lean.
The crazy concept is if a current crew of engineers or whatever got delivered all those stones. Didn't have to make them.
Yeah.
Those just came prepackaged. Here are your pieces, here are your pieces, here are pieces. Now, recreate this pyramid. At that point, it would still take a fucking shitload of time. But in theory, I mean, as far as we understand, they had to make each one of those.
Yeah.
Piece by piece.
And they're like 2 tons. Or 3 tons. 20? Fuck.
That's what I'm reading right here.
Love you.
20 tons. There's a 0% chance that's happening.
No. Ton. TONNE. The doors were 20-ton doors.
Wow. Yeah, and have you guys seen the videos where they literally stick a fucking 90-degree angle, like measuring stick? Like a 90-degree? Yeah, and a little T-square or whatever. And they go in and it fits perfectly. Perfect.
It says the stones were heavier than elephants.
Yeah, bro. I'm pretty sure they were like 3 tons. Something like that.
It's saying 10.
So a ton is 2,000. So what's that? 6,000 pounds. And they're just, put the team on my back, coach. Let's go.
Run these up with some ropes.
You know, like I'm just not buying it. Any of it. How perfect that is. And I think me and Steve were talking a little bit. I guess we've all talked a little bit, but yeah, you have no measuring stick. You have no measuring anything, right? You can't measure it. So just imagine with nothing at all, just to, eye in it, be like, looks about straight. If you're fucking like less than a quarter inch off at the base and you don't know it, by the time you're at the top, you're fucked.
You're fucked because all of a sudden that thing
is gonna start leaning to the left, like your left ball back.
Same concept. A conduit rack, if you're off a quarter inch at the beginning, by the end, you're going to notice how far off it is after 100 feet.
Yeah.
Like
450.
And this is 750 feet. So if you eyeball down that, if that pyramid's not tailing off to the left in some way, it's like those fuckers had it down.
Yeah, and you'd have to have a dude at each corner of the pyramid and be like, yep, mine's perfect. Yours perfect? You? Over there, and with the megaphone, no walkie-talkies.
Oh, yeah. Seriously. Just a bunch of cans and string.
It says here, too, that this was all before the invention of the wheel, too. So think about that. You sound like you could put boards on top of wheels and, like, pull them up these...
Yeah, they said they put them on logs or something, that they rolled them, and I'm like, okay, so you have to carve out these perfectly round logs, too?
Well, I hear they built it from the top down.
That makes sense, Bug.
They did it and then they flipped it over.
Hey, I'm sure at least one of you kind of thought about that for a second.
Stop it, and they flipped it over. Bug.
Someone's like, well,
I was just looking at you like, what the fuck did you just say?
Like, wow, that would make it a lot easier. You're right.
Yeah,
it
it's
makes
nuts.
a whole lot of sense.
It's crazy. I mean, so say this does happen, whatever. Like, how many intricate. Thank you. Like all the chambers and shit down there, like that are perfectly, and like all the little pathways that go out, and like all the staircases and stuff, and for it not to collapse on you after you're just putting this brick there, and you're gonna be like, oh, let me carve out this little bedroom down here real quick, guys. Not a big deal.
Yeah, for not the whole damn thing to come down. I mean, we have fucking plans right now that are just very detailed on. You have to be a quarter inch and all this stuff. And it's just like, this is with our technology. Yeah. And it gets fucked up now.
All the time.
And you have this fucking pyramid system, that just has rooms and chambers and fucking like showrooms almost for like the royalty that gets buried there. And so they make it, as exotic and fucking crazy as it can be. But that's like a huge room for it.
Yeah.
And how do you know while building this? I mean, even if you just put block by block and made it just a triangle with just blocks, how do you know how much you can carve out in the middle and not lose the structural integrity?
Yeah.
Where it would fall and collapse.
Yeah, your support beam, so to speak.
Here's the other thing. There's no way one guy was in charge the whole time for the pyramid with how long it would have had to taken.
Oh yeah.
No.
Right? So how does that guy keep that in line with the next guy?
Yeah.
Foreman to foreman.
Yeah, with pictures
Day crew to night crew. There's no fucking way that ever happens. Perfect.
Yeah.
It says here, just to give you a perception of this one specific pyramid, the Khufu's Great Pyramid, had approximately 2.3 million blocks of stone, averaging about 2.5 tons each. That roughly, it says 100,000 men, but could have actually been lower, like 20,000 men worked on it. That took 20 years to build. 20 years.
Bullshit. There's no way it would only take 20 years.
20 years and they're all on the same page, like Steve, you're saying? For 20 years, nobody's like, fuck.
Everybody is leaning a little to the left, to the right.
Yeah,
we got to fix it.
Fuck it. Let's just keep going.
Start over.
Somebody down the line had to have said, fuck it.
There's no way.
They didn't,
No, not a chance. And what tools were they using to make, were they sanding the fucking bricks? Because I've seen how smooth the doorways are. I don't fucking know. How do you do it? How do you do it?
Laser beams.
Now we're on to something.
Ancient technology.
They fell from a hole in the sky from another universe and just flopped where they are today.
Yeah, but that was calculated too.
Upside down bug, and then they flipped it.
Well, because the Earth's flat, so.
Yeah, naturally. It just came up out of the ground. Came up from the bottom and pushed them up through.
Like some tremors.
Yeah, Lord. This thing was actually constructed underneath.
If you water this twice a day, it'll grow to a giant pyramid.
A perfect stone.
Yeah, and they built 3 of them underneath the Milky Way perfectly.
Yeah, one is
3
crazy
of them.
enough.
Yeah, they built 3 of them, just right in a row, perfectly underneath the stars. Perfectly. And then they covered them with shiny limestone.
At certain times of year.
Yeah,
Certain times of year.
Yeah.
They line up with different constellations at different times of the year.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. I thought it was just the Milky Way.
I mean, I can imagine because it rotates, right? We see different stuff all the time.
Well,
There's certain times of the year that you see constellations that you can't see, right?
Yeah.
Even in a smaller sense, it's kind of like Castaway when he builds his own little timeline. The sunlight coming through the cave, so you can kind of tell the month and whatnot. Same concept is going to have to apply for.
Yeah, it hits at like the certain equinoxes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then they're done, and then they limestone it. They limestone it with shiny shit so you can see it from outer space when the sun reflects on it. What would be the point of that?
Now,
you can see it from the moon.
Where did that stone come from?
Yeah, the limestone, they didn't fucking know. And how many people were fucking even in Egypt at this time?
Couple hundred.
Couple hundred.
They're full timers.
35. I don't know.
So is it even enough people to even
They were like
do whatever they're saying?
Nurses. They just kind of come in and out.
Yeah. It's for hire. Shit.
Yeah. Hey, we got a spot for you over here in Egypt.
Yep. Hey,
Well, what are you going to pay me?
Yeah, we're not going to pay you. We're not going to pay you. We're just going to whip the shit out of you.
Ting Joser was like a pyramid built, please. What's your availability June through August?
Well, it's tough. Got big plans
for the next 30 years.
God, there's so many interesting facts about pyramids, man.
Yeah, there's tons. I fucking love it so much.
When it stumps like engineers and like our modern technology to how the hell.
I know a lot of engineers now, and I can see them getting stumped pretty fucking easy.
Oh yeah, they're the
absolutely.
fucking worst. Right?
If you take this at its very base, right? The size, the weight, the precision, the size, the
precision,
the like intricacy in just specificity, whatever that word is.
But specifics,
specificity, regardless, very specific metrics that they followed with such, at that time, what would be deemed archaic tools.
Yeah.
Like,
how do you get a perfectly 90-degree angle? I couldn't even do that now with fucking shit in my garage.
I've done it once.
We're not talking about the average human here, Brad.
What bricks are we talking to? What did you say, 7 million or some shit like that?
This one particular pyramid was 2.3 million.
3 million.
2.3 million blocks or stones or...
All of them with those 90-degree angles? Fuck.
Yeah, perfect. And the doorway's perfect. Perfect.
And it says... And maybe there's some outside of Egypt, right? And there's different sizes.
There's tons outside of Egypt.
But Egypt,
those underwater pyramids?
Yeah,
they're everywhere.
Yeah.
So think about that too. If they're in different locations, you think about travel. There's no internet. You can't like text your buddy like, "Hey man, how'd you make that fucking perfect stone, man? Like, shoot me your process."
Well, it's tough.
To think that multiple locations that aren't easily probably travel, like you can't travel. Maybe you could. Like, I don't know the history between, did they start here, then someone moved and they started making them over here. I don't know that, so it can't be held.
Well, if it's the desert, fuck, you can go in anywhere.
But you got to think that like similar processes were created to build such massive structures by different sets of people. That's
they have
crazy.
the same idea.
That's crazy.
They're finding these in the Amazon now too.
Oh, they have been for a long time, yeah.
Yeah, like So the Amazon ain't fucking close.
Finding them in
I
Asia
don't think
now.
you can Uber there from Egypt. I don't think so.
No, probably not.
Have you guys seen Alien vs Predator?
Well, yeah.
I live it every day.
Like
No.
the
Yeah.
original? How like their whole concept was on a ancient pyramid that was built that ended up getting built underground, like below Antarctica.
No,
Man, I'm the only one that
I don't
we
know.
remember that.
It's been a minute. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
it's like a minute.
It was like
But,
it was like an old structure that was
Wooden
like
ship.
an old wooden ship. Dude, in the Civil War era.
Yeah.
But no, this is like their whole like plot of it was like predated the Mayans and all that, but it was like an old temple that was structured under Antarctica, and just how
Yeah,
it
it's
ended
probably
up representing
thick.
more. It was like a signal type of thing.
Yeah.
To
It probably is.
It's like a beacon
of hope.
So, I mean, how off is that compared to what Steve was saying? How it aligned with stars and things like that. It's like, I mean, that could have been created so fast from outside, alien type of shit, and just used as like a GPS tracking,
like a reference point.
Yeah, exactly.
It says here that to that point, the ancient Egyptians aligned with two constellations to align their pyramids in a north-south direction, the Big Dipper and the Little Dipper. The alignment was so precise that the north-south positions are within an accuracy of up to 0.05 degrees.
Yeah.
Even though
you're
the
doing that
stars
fucking
are constantly
eyeballing
changing.
it.
Well,
Like that's not a coincidence.
No,
if one of them was okay, coincidence, right? No big deal.
But three in a
But if
row.
that's how they seem to follow a pattern.
To have the tip of it be perfectly underneath.
Yeah, that's just.
I mean, the base of it's
happen.
700 and something. And second of all, why is the pyramid on the $1 bill with an all-seeing eye on top? Riddle me that one.
Oh, buddy.
Hold on, let me Google that shit now.
They know.
You can't Google it. You won't get any real answers.
Yeah. No, not at all. We got to talk to Alex Jones. Bring him on here.
I have a special Google.
Yeah, frugal.
Alex Jones is fucking conspiracy guy.
Hey, don't call me guy.
It represents strength and duration.
So does Biden.
Yeah.
You were wrong there, buddy.
Yeah, that's a laughable response, both of them. There's no way. So the $1 bill, we're just randomly like, oh, you know what sounds good? The pyramids. They're cool, right? Let me just put an eye on top. I think it's called God's eye or whatever is what it's supposed to be. The all-seeing God's eye. The all-seeing eye or the God's eye or whatever. Don't represent shit except aliens.
Right?
Just that.
I mean,
so
you really want to segue to aliens so bad.
Dude, well, hear me out.
Well, I feel like it ties into the pyramids.
Well, it has to, right? There's one of two options in my mind. Okay, either one, there was an ancient civilization that lived here for, a long time. I mean, it could date back to 100,000 years ago, and they progressed and whatever, got wiped out. Something crazy happened. And that happened, and they had left, had a bunch of tools, or aliens stopped by, helped some fucking little tool bags out. They're like, oh, look at these fucking clowns. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. Let's help them. And how do we get back here to help them out in a little bit? Oh, we have to build these massive pyramids so we know where the fuck to go. And then, yeah, one of the two options.
Or they dropped off our species, did that.
Oh boy.
And set up fucking reference points because we're like Butte, Idaho in terms of the universe as it goes. Like our planet is just like, we'll see. A little test point.
Yeah.
Create all these little anomalies, fucking pyramids and everything that happen to line up with stars that are in the galaxy that will help us map out a bigger picture. And then
if you can see them from space, then I mean, there's probably one option. Probably meant to be.
I'll tell you the one option that doesn't make any sense is that based on our history and our
slavery.
Well, like the way that we think about the history of everything is that we are at the top of, like, we're superior to anything that's ever happened on Earth, and our technology is much more advanced than it ever has been. Which I don't buy.
No.
Mainly because of, that type of architecture. There's just no way. And we're just befuddled on, well, how is that even possible based on even our tools today? But then we look at it as like these guys didn't have shit other than, rolling logs and
and some fucking
wheel invented.
Yeah, no hammer. They're made up hammer and chisels. And they're just whittling out fucking 3-ton stones.
Oh yeah, what are you doing? Rolling those fucking 3-ton stones? Because where did they come from? Where did you collect all this material?
Yeah.
You didn't blow up a fucking mountain and then just be like, all right, well, look at that. We have a whole bunch of perfect stones that just got blown up. Let's just stack them. We're bored.
And to think about it, we don't know when they were built, right? So the fact that they are still standing, nothing else in the entire world makes it very far without getting destroyed or weather or corroded or whatever. And those motherfuckers have lasted, minimum like 3,000 years.
Yeah.
So what they say.
Yeah.
10?
Exactly.
10,000, something like that.
Yeah, I think that's the number that they're thinking now. Yeah, like 10. But still, what would even last fucking 1,000 years? Do we even have anything?
Well, there's buildings in Greece in Greece and Rome that have lasted that long.
Or the Colosseum?
But you compare them though.
Yeah.
The size difference, like the Colosseum.
But the Colosseum got ripped up though. It's only like half still there.
Yeah, but there's other buildings there that were built,
And those are considered like massive,
like
structures.
the wonders of the world or whatever, like the Taj Mahal. But the Taj Mahal, I don't know when that was built, but
no.
I know, like the Babylon, whatever. I know that was crazy,
Pantheon.
but the Pantheon. Babylon was supposed to be the wonder of the world, but that got fucking destroyed. I know.
You put the Colosseum next to the pyramids and just see the size difference. It's not even a comparison.
Yeah,
compare the perfections to like Colosseum.
The Colosseum was like majestic.
Yeah, the Colosseum could do some crazy shit with lifting floors and filling up. They fill it up with water, and there was some very impressive engineering and architecture in that culture as well. That
failed.
It's just. Well, so did ancient Egypt failed too.
Sure.
Well, the structure itself. You look at the Colosseum and
it didn't stand up against time.
Yeah, it withered away.
Was there other causes?
Maybe.
More than likely.
But Egypt's one of the harshest fucking.
happened during World War II and shit. That's
true.
But you go and fucking launch a bomb at the pyramids and just pure stone that's fucking layered and layered on stone. Like,
I don't know. Maybe we'll find some transformers in there.
Maybe
a force field around it.
Crazy
Big defense system that we find out about it. Let's fucking launch a bomb.
We just activate a beacon.
Damn, Timbo with full on send it.
Yeah. You bullshit. And you got defense mechanisms in there. Let's see it.
Let's see what you got.
I don't know.
Force field comes up, blows our minds.
So do you guys think it'd be like more like an ancient civilization, more likely, or like aliens?
I think maybe both. I don't know. I don't have like a solid theory on it, but just hearing you talk about that, maybe that's why we haven't seen aliens yet. Maybe it was ancient civilization that got wiped out, and so did they. and they helped them make it back then when they had better technology. And I don't know. It's so.
But it's just a weird
unknown.
Think
Why?
about it.
Go ahead, bud.
No, go ahead. I
was say, like, why of all structures, if it was like a rebuild process, why would you build 3 triangle structures? How is that
4D
helping? Like, how is that boosting whatever the hell life you have on this planet? Like,
I think it had a lot of religious purposes behind it, right? I mean, like, helping kings ascend, afterlife, and at least like what you read is there's a lot of religious purpose behind how they built them, why they built them. They treated them as like what we would call a cemetery, right? They buried a lot of their dead, and they had rituals to how they did it, and it was meant to be. I think I could be wrong on this, but like because of the pyramid shape, it was helping them ascend into heaven or wherever, right? So not to say that that's solely it, but I think that was one of the things that I was reading that's tied to why they built them the way they did.
Well, so what they're finding now is they're more than likely built way before the Egyptians, and they just are in it, doing whatever.
So based on your
like they just use it as like a place to an RIP,
like an Airbnb.
Squatters, huh?
Yeah, but where do you decide where the peak is? If we're slowly, religiously working towards peaking to the heavens, like how long it takes to make, like the first kings are on level 1 to 4 or whatever. Like, how do you decide who hit that pinnacle?
And the average life
and this is it. Boom, that's our king. And then they're like, oh fuck, that wasn't our king. Let's build another one over here.
Yeah.
Like,
so let's hear me out on this. So I was reading this thing again that I saw about like how vast our universe is could possibly be. We really don't truly know, but just based off these pictures and things that we've taken, I will save that for
we've barely been to Mars.
Later. I will save that discussion for a little bit. But what if we're talking about how these were built, right? And how old they've been around. Could it be possible that some civilization is checking in on good old Earth, right? Like, man, these guys are fucking dumb, right? They don't have any technology. They don't have anything going for them. Let's go, like, help them out. And if they freak out, our technology is advanced. We can take them out. Or they're never going to, like, be able to document our existence, whatever. I don't know. And they tried to help the humankind back then to progress, and this was their efforts and whatever. And yeah, maybe we are a little like test pool, and they're just trying to see how we evolve and whatnot. But I could see it possible that forever, long ago, that there was probably more common, if all checks out, that people had interactions with alternate life.
You son of a bitch.
Fucking guaranteed, bro. I mean, I
just
think
based
that
on how things were done.
I think
things that we can't explain.
Why would they put in like
too.
hieroglyphic, but also like the heads and shit they put on that, and the people that they put in there were like 7 feet tall. And I don't know what about evolution, but the Egyptians had to be like fucking a 3'9", bunch of Tonys running around.
Bunch of Tonys. Who's a Tony?
Well, he's a little guy. He's a little guy. Bunch of Danny DeVitos cruising the streets way back when. And then you have all these Egyptian gods that they put in have weird heads like a dog head or fucking whatever head. There wasn't no fucking dogs in the desert. Come on now.
Yeah, there were.
Fucking
jackals.
Nah.
Yeah,
they don't exist now.
I don't know. Way back then, I don't know. Who knows?
Now, yeah, jackal schmackle.
Fucking schmackles still. But still, they're like way taller than everybody. Even in the pictures, like the little drawings they had,
so
way bigger.
But keep in mind, some of that stuff is a representation, right? There's things that we build and do today that's a representation of something that's not actually, quote unquote, here on Earth, right? So keep that in mind. However, that creativity and where that came from, yeah, it could have came from the gods. Could have really been like an alternate life form coming down and say, hey, we're checking in on you, seeing if you need some help, like helping push your race along, right?
It's like the Statue of Liberty. Imagine if our got wiped out and the Statue of Liberty stood, and then life progressed, and then all of a sudden they see this giant statue of a woman with, they're just going to be like, oh, that must have been their god that they represented. And it's just like such a misinterpretation of, like,
there's also multiple statues, liberties that are far away that they would be asking the same thing. How the fuck would they know
that they're good from the French?
If they found 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of them, but there was one big one. It's like, oh, so how did these people know to?
Yeah, what's that
same statue?
What's that?
The Sphinx
in New York. The isn't in New York the big ass bull, like it's in like Hitch.
No, it's in Chicago, right?
Chicago, is it
the
Chicago?
Bean?
The Bean,
no,
bro.
The Bean, the bull. I thought it was on
you're bullshit.
Fighting Wall Street. I thought it was on Wall Street.
Oh yeah.
Like that's not the actual size of bulls. I've never seen it, but I believe it's pretty fucking large. It'd be like that, saying like, wow, they had some really fucking big animals down here.
Yeah, but if you look through our books or whatever, and the only documentation left, though, I mean, those are statues, okay? We look at old statues and like the Sphinx and weren't like, oh shit, they were fucking enormous, right? But in their actual drawings on their photos, they have their regular people, and then they have these giant fucking dudes everywhere.
I think I'm kind of with Bug on that. That's more of a representation of showing that this person had importance and value. Yeah. So we're going to make him much bigger than we are.
I understand that aspect, but I just think in my mind, like if we did have aliens or whatever, they'd probably be a lot bigger than fucking our little 4'9" midgets cruising the streets.
I would take all your Tonys inside and let them sit in let's leave them alone for a
DeVitos,
second.
How about that?
Yeah, leave your DeVitos alone. So I would side with you, Brad, more if like take statues out of it and all that, but you think of hieroglyphics, and if there was more, like you think that time period, how they documented stuff was way different, obviously, than we do now. So that's why I'm saying there could have been way more alien interaction with the human race back then, because they're like, these guys don't know how to they're not going to take a picture of us and show like future generations about us. But if you look at those, if you were to able, and I don't know a lot about hieroglyphics, but like if there were some documented things of like, here's little DeVito and then some guy that he's talking to that's way bigger, I would take that as more of we encountered a much larger being, right? Yeah. As opposed to a statue that we built that to me is representing a person they deem larger than life, like someone like a king or queen or whatever.
Importance.
Right. I mean, this is my mind. I mean, it could go either way, but here's in my mind. I think that, I don't know, makes a little more sense.
But also think like nowadays, what was it like in the last couple of years? They were all these like files had to be released of I forget what it was called.
Hunter Biden's laptop.
No, the dude, you gotta
put a plug on it,
buddy. They had to release all these like confidential documents. I forget what it was called, but within that was stuff like pertaining UFOs? To UFOs, and like the military has been open saying like, yeah, there are times that we can't really explain what it was. We're not saying it was an alien ship, but like it wasn't one of ours. Wasn't on our radar. It wasn't supposed to be in that airspace. Fuck, it could have been little Tony saying, fuck off, military, here's my drone that I'm flying through your airspace. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm interested in that there's potential some documentation of things that, maybe there's more interaction than we know.
I mean, just random advancement in our technology, or I don't know. I get fascinated by, on that point, to like all like the fighter pilots who have seen weird shit like that, and then just that they've been up there doing it for how long, and all of a sudden it's just like out of their sight, and they can't follow it going Mach 1.
Yeah, that's just weird.
Then it gets umbrellaed under the term UFO, which is to the general public.
Like, fucking tinfoil hats.
Paper airplane.
Yeah, it's literally
been
just
like
you can't identify it.
A balloon that floated away and just can't quite make it out in the sky. I don't know.
Stuff's weird. I feel like we're not being told a bunch of shit to that. But I'm also curious. So they're uncovering a bunch of shit in the Amazon forest, right? A bunch of like ancient cities and stuff. And with these timelines, they're just basically like skipped over in history, like they never happened. So now that they find them, there's gaps now of like, I'm talking like 10, 20,000 years.
Like lost chapters.
Yeah. They just been skipped by. They're like, oh, we didn't know those are here. And so it just fucks up everything, I'm feeling like. And that's only what they've found so far. What happens when they find some lost cities of Atlantis or whatever?
But you have to be very careful with that because that fucks with religion. And
there's no mention of the pyramids in the Bible. What's up with that?
I haven't read the Bible front to end, so I don't know that.
I mean, I haven't either, but nobody's ever said anything about it. And wasn't Jesus around the time in Egypt? You don't think that he would have fucking ran into one? I don't know. She's weird to me.
No, that was quite a big gap.
Yeah, that was like we're talking about like thousands of years AD. Or no, was that AD or
BC? BC
is what?
I thought it
before Christ.
Yeah, and then Christ is there. The pyramids were before.
Yeah.
They were in BC, and so Christ is AD. So
after
when
death.
So when he's here, the pyramids were here when he was here. Those are facts.
Yes.
And there's no mention of them.
Were, like the Pyramid of Giza was built
maybe it wasn't as important
2,500 years before Jesus.
Yeah, if not more.
But maybe
it
wasn't an important aspect. You know, he was in
how
and keep in mind we're pinpointing one religion here too. You know.
Yeah.
But if we are going to pinpoint one religion, right? You know.
Well, I don't know much about Buddhism. So.
A little man with a big belly. He's like a Tony.
Tony keeps popping up.
Just sitting there and cheesing.
That was his middle name.
Yeah.
It was Buddha Tony Buddha.
Damn, what a shitty name.
Oh shit, we're gonna get hit by the
baby. He had a sweet tat on his shoulder right here.
Damn, his own initials.
But maybe it just wasn't his. He had a mission, right? Like, so say what you want about religion, be religious or not, like, but just go along with the story, right? Mm-hmm. He had a mission, right? And his mission wasn't maybe focused on these structures and what was behind them and why they were built and how they were built.
Yeah, but not. What about like Moses or like there's no mention of him.
He's fucking worried about seas, parting seas and shit.
Yeah, parting seas, but they're all in the Egypt area wanting to free slaves and all that shit. The slaves would have been allegedly working on it, right?
So keep in mind.
That's what the story is they were working on it and he moved them out of there.
Yeah, but there was no mention of the pyramids though.
But the pyramids were technically from the skeletons that they've uncovered.
I mean, I don't know that Moses exactly when he was there, but I'm just saying there's not even a mention of these giant structures
let's take
anywhere.
Let's take a step back. We just skipped over a really big thing.
Yeah, I know. I know.
No. Okay. All right. Keep it in your pants, buddy. So Moses, what is he famous for?
Fucking burning your mom.
Okay.
Leading the Jews out of Egypt.
Thank you. So, but he did what? He parted the Red Sea.
Hello.
Which was that time of the month.
All right.
But if that was possible, okay, and it's been known that God gave these people special gifts to like carry out missions and blah, 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 right? Yeah. But if you could truly part a sea, I wouldn't be like, yo, where'd this fucker come from? Like, I'm looking over at fish swimming down the alleyway here, and I'm going to question pyramids, but I ain't going to question the sea that's being parted. So once again, it goes back to my theory on that is a lot of the stories in the Bible are representations to get a point across. Do I believe some guy like got off his shift at work and's like, hey guys, follow me, I got your back, and then he parted the sea and like just fucking
I know a shortcut
on through. Yeah, I know a shortcut. Like follow me in Aquaman down the path here. Like I think a lot of those things were stories to represent things. Okay. Yeah. And my theories on like religion and stuff have drastically changed over the last like 10 years. But you know, That's,
I mean, yeah.
That's my thought. Did he really part of C? Yes or no? I have no idea.
I don't know. I mean, every self-help book is based off the Bible. I mean, that's facts. So, I mean, they are there to help you, but still, like, I mean, in the most ancient piece of, writing that we have that we're supposed to, worship or whatever, doesn't mention some of the largest structures in the world. Is a little weird.
It wasn't focused on that. That's what I'm saying. It wasn't focused on that.
Yeah, I know, but if you
more
were cruising,
about the people than anything.
If I'm writing a self-help
if you're
book,
writing a story
about,
and you're like cruising down the street, you're not going to mention the biggest fucking structure in the fucking world.
But think about
Probably
what
not.
the Bible's topic was about. It wasn't about these magnificent structures.
No,
right?
but you're not even going to talk about, freeing people putting fucking 3-ton shit on their back.
Maybe the only point of that story is that
it's just a weird thing that there's never.
I think personally you're looking too far into that, because I personally think the point of that story is I'm freeing these people that had a shitty life, right? I'm freeing them. What they were doing, we're not going to dive into, but read my other book, Tony 2.0. Hit up my man Buddha.
Book of Mormon.
He's got a New York bestseller coming out.
The add-ons.
It's like reading Harry Potter and then wondering why they didn't mention anything. Like, they're just different.
Yeah, you didn't mention
They're
Hogwarts?
just different. Well, platform 9 3/4.
A little different.
I know what you're saying. I'm just trying to put like a different point out there. I get what you guys are saying. I'm not trying to say like, I'm right, you guys are wrong.
Yeah.
Hey, you're gonna bring my mom into this.
I know. I'll take that one, buddy. I'll take it.
That sea is parted, buddy.
Oh, yeah, nice and red.
Yeah, and it was red. She didn't even warn me.
But I mean,
hey, is that time?
Okay. So the Amazon forest, right? So there's a gap in time. Like, how does that work?
Can you explain that to me? Because I don't know if I'm 100%. So I didn't quite pick up what you were putting down.
So from what I understand it, they're just saying like, okay, this time to this time period, like these things happened. And there was, nothing in the Amazon, we went, there's people who went through the Amazon, and around there, like exploring and shit like that. And they're like, oh, nothing. And then now they're finding these things, these big lost cities. Yeah. Because they're all covered in like trees and all this shit. They're like, oh, nothing's here. It's just all forest and whatever. And now they're finding them. So now there's a gap of like 10 to 20,000 years. Right? And
a bit of time.
Yeah, bit of fucking time. So where does that go though? Like, it just, oh, hey, it was here all along forever ago. Now where do you put that time frame in that gap in any of these stories in civilization? And if those were built, was there like way bigger civilizations that are, just as advanced as us back
Potentially
a long time ago, and they got something happen? Like, I mean, it's cool to me. I get very intrigued.
Talking like multiverse shit.
No, I mean, that's a different topic, Bug. I like it.
No, like he's saying, like there was a civilization before us that, like the dinosaurs cataclysmic event was the meteorite that struck and wiped out the dinosaurs. Was there a cataclysmic event that took out a civilization before us?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And in the timeline of things, it's a very small timeline. Like, I mean, even if you think it's just recent technology, how fast the past 100 years.
Yeah.
And like
that's
the difference between now and the 1920s are huge. Huge difference.
Yeah, and think of 10,000 years.
1980s.
Yeah, seriously. Like, I
mean in 2000
crazy,
they thought the internet was going to crash.
Y2K,
buddy. Everybody fucking buy all the water.
Yeah.
But it's just like
shit, 2 years ago I almost ran out of toilet paper.
True story. But now think of like 10,000 years missing. That's more than anything has ever been recorded.
That is crazy. So
or 20,000. Like, that is nuts. If you
obviously it's a gap in time. Do you know, like, and not to put you on the spot because this is a tough question, I could Google it, but like, that when this 10 to 20,000 year period was missing, do they have an idea of where that gap would have been? Like, was it
not that I know of?
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm trying to think of like documentation purposes. Like, how is this missed? How do you miss
exactly
all this shit that took place? Like, it wasn't like you turned right, and if you would have turned left, you would have saw like this fucking neighborhood. Like, no, like you missed a whole bunch of shit, right?
Yeah, it's buried.
It's buried in the Amazon, and it's crazy forest and whatever. But now they're chopping it down and expanding or whatever, and they're seeing all this shit. And like the shit, I don't know exactly, you know, I haven't like studied this tons, but like they're studying like some of the shit like would go on and roughly how much decay and all that shit and like when it was built and stuff like that. And I don't know exactly what time frame they put it, but they just know that it's like super fucking old. Where would you put 10,000 years? Anyway,
back pocket, baby.
In the Amazon forest.
I mean, that can't be that can't be day one. So how far do you go before that?
Hear me out on this, because I actually now I'm like, I want to start Googling this stuff and like researching because I'm very intrigued.
Do it.
So I'm not an expert in this. So like some of this may not make sense, but just try to walk along this path with me. So obviously over the course of time, the geographic makeup of the world has shifted, right? With how much water took up the world, how much land took up the world, so on and so forth. Hypothetically, there's this gap of 10 to 20,000 years, right? Could this said area of the Amazon been this culture, this civilization was around? Maybe their land flooded. That cataclysmic event, they flooded. They all died. That part of the Amazon got flooded. There was still part of the Amazon around. So when these people were searching, right? I don't know. I don't know enough about.
There's also
changes
there's also smaller pyramids. They're not Giza pyramids, but there's pyramids in the Amazon forest, which is also crazy.
Right. But that's what I'm wondering, and I'm trying to find a way to explain it, but I have no idea how to do that. That's just the first thing that came to my mind is maybe they were here, they got flooded, everybody died, and
I can think of what you're saying is like if it was all the big continent before everything split up, all of civilization centered on this particular portion. And then that happened. You know, the cataclysmic event happened and just destroyed the only intelligent portion of the planet. And then everything separated. And then now you're finding all these pieces in that one spot where initially that was the only intelligent portion of our planet, and that's where everything centralized. And then it just got buried in the Amazon, and that just happened to be where the initial civilization intelligence like sourced from. Maybe and now they're just discovering it, and it was just buried.
And you could be, man. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you know. Steve brought up like when did exactly this meteor hit or whatever wipe out everything? Do you know?
It's like 1804.
Nice.
I can look it up.
2020.
Yeah, meteor hit real hard. 2020.
Name was Joe Biden.
Yeah, barely
65. You talk about the dinosaurs?
Yeah, 65 million.
65 million years ago.
Okay, so
the last 65 million years.
After living on Earth for about 165 million years. But they were on Earth for 165 million years. Then, boom, hasta luego, Spanish for see you later. That was 65 million years ago.
And there's the Ice Age and whatever.
Like,
but
how is it?
Like 65 million years ago. I mean, I don't know. Just think of this conspiracy theory real quick with me, guys. I mean, if there's 65 million years.
Go grab beer.
Oh, yeah. We'll cheers in a minute, buddy. But maybe, just maybe, on how many civilizations have lived gaps in time and then they got wiped out. Like maybe, maybe God just wants to have a bunch of fucking experiments. Who knows?
Maybe it's 5,000 years at a time and he resets it.
Maybe. I mean, if there's 65 million, there's a lot of
real life Sims up there.
Shit. Perhaps.
Let's just throw some giant lizards down there for 165 million years.
Yeah.
Okay, let's throw some people.
Yeah, I need some people. Maybe some people just like me.
Now the world needs TikTok.
Maybe toss a few pyramids in there just to get their minds
I
going.
mean, so if it is 5,000 years, I mean, imagine the advancement and shit. And so do those people advance far enough to get to other planets and then before it gets wiped out?
Yeah,
do they come back?
Small scale.
Do they come back though? Not without the pyramids. Maybe what if we went and put limestone all over the fucking pyramids again and shot it out and brightened it up and put a big glare on it and we got a bunch of UFOs? How crazy would that be?
Little spit shine, little elbow grease.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Jazz the place up a little bit, bring it a little more modern day.
What if I'm
thinking a country farmhouse feel.
We need more shiplap.
Jesus Christ. Chug your beer.
What if at the end of every recycle, he lets you know, hey, I'm here in 10 years. Y'all are going to be done. So everyone just panics and tries to leave their place and try and leave a sign that they existed at one point. And then it's just reset over and over and over and over.
Maybe.
Kind of.
And then they're like, hey, there's reset. They're not going to know how to read, so we're just going to put a bunch of pictures.
Yeah. Hieroglyphics
and a bunch of pictures. Yeah.
Aliens.
Yeah. And like, hey, we got to really dumb this down for these fucking.
Oh, yeah. I don't want this to take a side turn.
UFO.
Does everybody believe in God?
Yeah.
If you don't want to answer, you don't have to. Or at least a higher being.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's the same thing.
Because there's some stuff. There's some stuff personally is so hard to explain without like a little extra help, right?
Yeah.
And I've fought this mindset on my own. Like I was like Catholic my entire life, Catholic grade school, high school, whatever. And I still believe in a higher being, whether it's God or whatever, because there's just so much I can't explain. So much I can't explain.
Yeah.
So I have to have some faith in something that something happened, right? But man, that's a whole nother topic. I'd love to because
we can dive into.
I mean, that's a rabbit hole. I mean,
that is a rabbit hole.
That's definitely a whole nother.
That's a different. No, yeah, that's why I didn't want to like get us off track. Yeah. I was just curious because we keep bringing up religion and God and
well, because it's hard not to, but because what do? You just fucking die and then you die, that you're done. Like so, either
maybe.
So just I mean, maybe not tons of philosophy. I guess just living your life. So if there is no God,
I think
you just fucking die.
I think the two pyramids and religion are so closely connected because why else would you build them?
Yeah, exactly.
And they were before the coming of Jesus. Per the time,
why else?
Exactly. But they're trying to let us know that hey, this is real. This is what we're gonna give you pictures, and we're gonna basically guide you for when
here's
we're
IKEA directions.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, well, those are fucking tough.
What if God even built the pyramids and people just started fucking writing in them? He built everything fucking graffiti. Else. He built everything else. Mountains.
I mean, but think about if you do believe in God, think about this story. And once again, we're still focused on one religion, but not the clothing brand, but the story of how the world and everything on it came to be, right? 6 days and on the seventh day he rested. Like maybe he put some trees down and over here in this desert area, I want to put these little pyramids. Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, who knows? Maybe every fucking reset that happens, every fucking cataclysmic event, maybe adds some shit. I don't know. I mean, or there's fucking aliens that came back and fucking
Minecraft
built
is God
this
playing
shit.
Minecraft?
Maybe. Or he just built this shit and then they fucking were like, hey, this is our beacon and it's perfectly aligned in the stars. So if I'm 6 trillion miles away this way, I can be like, oh yeah, it's right here. Boop. Straight shot down.
Respawn beacons.
Yeah. Straight shot down. I don't know. Crazy. I know these are just theories, but like, I don't know. I mean, there's so many ways that no one can explain anything. And I mean, well, we're talking about, whatever God shit. Either way, if there is an afterlife, if there's not, you might as well fucking leave your mark on the world.
Are you YOLOing right now?
Yeah, exactly.
Are you YOLOing?
Yeah, I'm gonna fucking bring this goddamn up. Because literally, so many people just are so passive in life and they don't fucking do anything. You either get one shot and you never come back and you maybe go to afterlife, or you get one shot and you're dead.
Eminem. Me and you clicked there, P. I saw you.
Right?
Do not miss your chance to blow, Brad. All right.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, though. I mean, you guys laugh, but it's a true story, though. I mean, you're either going to make your mark and do something big, and so at least the people who are here after you remember, and then there's nothing, and then you fucking die anyway, so what's the fucking point? Or there's an afterlife, and you made your fucking mark and be the best person anyway.
Do you think you come back as someone else, else?
I don't believe in reincarnation, no.
I do. I do believe in reincarnation.
I mean, I don't know. That one's just tricky for me. It's tricky.
Okay, so this is going to sound...
does that mean the same people just sit and recycle over and over and over? Like, that doesn't make sense to me.
I think it's a theory of your soul, right? Yeah. Like your soul is reincarnated, that's why you don't remember anything. You feel like you're starting fresh.
Yeah, but what would be the point, though? Just to be on a never-ending loop? And forever, that's like,
maybe like your theory of God building out what he has. He only has so many souls he can work with. And when this one's capped out, got to refresh it somewhere else. I don't know.
Yeah, but that doesn't. The only thing that I guess I don't believe in there's there's so many fucking galaxies out there. I mean, if there's an infinite number amount, unlimited, for me, what I think would be cool, I don't know if this is true or not, but it would be cool though, is if, say you died and you learned a bunch of shit and you went and, lived for so long, and then in heaven, you're like, fuck, I'm bored, I have no purpose. You went and kind of did your own thing and were like, hey, let me create a planet. Create a world and create some other shit off way out in the middle of nowhere. You can kind of do your own thing and, live kind of life that way. At least it would give you purpose. Otherwise, it'll be the point of living forever.
Yeah. See, I think the idea of reincarnation is different from the way you think of it. You view it as like an endless loop, and you're going to go back into the same planet as your same soul, but have to try again type of thing. And I think that's like I don't think you don't come back the same way. That's why no one.
Yeah, but you come back on a different planet, on a different place, or do you come back on this one? Like you lived through World War II and
you could
come back
in a different planet, but
if so, who is Hitler? Now
he's fucking taking pineapples up the ass.
Yeah, he's every fire hydrant in New York City.
Yeah, shit, he is.
I don't know. I don't know if you guys have different thoughts, but
have you like watched videos about kids reliving their previous lives, like reincarnation, and their parents being just flabbergasted and having to research that, and then them getting back in touch with the previous family that they knew and telling stories that just blew those fucking families' minds. Like, if you haven't, you should really look into that because it's pretty crazy.
No, I haven't. But so again, though, did you just go on an endless loop? Like, okay, you just come back, you don't remember anything, but you kind of keep these. I mean, I don't know if you can't remember anything, how they do, or so say they say like you have an old soul or whatever, right? So you're like, you have an old soul, you've been through a bunch of shit, you lived through a bunch of shit. Okay. Mm-hmm. If that's the case, I mean, does it end? When does it end? Or do you just keep doing the same thing over and over? And, does
you recycled?
Yeah. Or is there something you need to figure out? Or do you need to become fucking do something with your life? Great.
I was just going to say,
and then you're complete.
You have to find your purpose, fulfill your purpose.
You weren't done.
And then you earn your right into eternity or whatever. I don't know.
I heard this crazy theory the other day about reincarnation, that it's basically just, we keep reincarnating, keep learning more and more and more, basically until you've learned everything you can learn and you essentially become a god. And then you can create your own. Yeah, like it.
I mean, that's not.
It was interesting, but it's just one of those conspiracy theories.
Here's the funny thing.
You think how many? Oh, go ahead, bud.
Well, I was gonna summarize this like we don't know. That's the beauty of this is there's maybe not endless, but there's a shit ton of ways you could go about. Like we could suggest one thing, we could take Timbo's and like go down a whole dozen of different branches of different alterations of that thought process alone. I think that's what's really interesting is like we don't know. We don't know. And then you have these stories of like crazy people in the streets, like, oh, they must be on drugs or something, but who knows, maybe those fucking people's like are actually the probe to the higher ups. I don't know. Like
he's just like this close to becoming a god. He's
listen, that being said,
we're like,
if you guys ever wanted to try DMT, you guys ever wanted to try DMT? They said that is the closest thing to experience on like, because people they see you talk to like higher beings all the time, and they say like
you know.
Well,
how do you know that's the closest?
Well, that's what they say. It's probably not, but the closest thing we got. So there's not any religion that is tied to DMT. It's more like an out of body experience. Like they say, it's the closest thing to like, they feel. What is it? I remember listening to this one guy briefing on Joe Rogan. He said you feel like it's the only time ever that he's ever felt that you could transfer your subconscious, whether that would be to an afterlife or I guess maybe reincarnation or whatever. But like
euphoric.
I don't know. Like it's just the craziest thing. It's like a I don't know, like an out of body experience, and you like just get to see like almost an alternate universe or like
it's like a clarity.
Yeah, so to speak. And then they say, I don't know, almost every one of them, the most common thing between them all is they say you talk to or feel the presence or whatever of like a higher beings or, multiple ones, or that there's a different like parallel universe, or there's like a different universe or somewhere that more than just here,
Yeah.
Whether that's, heaven or, you reincarnate or you can transfer or there's a parallel universe or whatever. But
is I feel like that's their form of religion. Religion's an idea of just like.
Well, that's not how they talk about it. It's like the most unreligious people of all time talking about this shit. They just.
But well, that's what I'm saying. That's why it is like an idea. Like people that are religious are looking towards a higher power for answers and guidance and etc.
Yeah, they're looking for a way to explain things.
Mm.
I think they're looking for comfort as well.
People who aren't religious find that.
And that's why when I struggle with people who take the Bible, for example, and I'm sorry if I offend anybody here, for strict, this is exactly how it happened, right? Like it's word for word. This is exactly like I live by this. This is fact, whatever. I've had this discussion a dozen times where I feel a lot of the stories, I said it earlier, a lot of the stories are trying to represent something, right? Like, Adam and Eve and Moses parting the burning bush, the parting of the sea, the ark, and like all these different things are, maybe they happened. Maybe they did. I honestly don't know.
Maybe.
But I do feel like that some of these are stories that were built to represent something. You think about some of the children books that we read. Yeah, the children books that like I read to my kids. Like, yeah, the characters in there aren't real, but like they're representing a lesson at the end, right? Mm-hmm. A way to comfort you, a way to teach you something or explain something, right?
Yeah, and true. I mean, I don't know anyone else either, but I feel like you should think of them as like guidelines. Like any of the commandments or anything like that. I don't feel like they should be like, hey, you got to do this and this only. They're more like guidelines. I mean, how else could you write, anything perfect or 10 perfect things to just live by? Like,
yeah,
I just don't think it's possible.
How else?
Because life's always evolving.
Like a world that doesn't have guidelines and stuff like that is just going to be chaos. It's going to be free for all. Unless you set something as far as guidelines and beliefs go, then it's just everyone for themselves, and then that's going to be the African plains.
Chaos.
Like, you're just going to
if you have no rules or any guidelines,
it's going to win.
Exactly. Survival of the fittest. Yeah, but otherwise it's all chaos. I mean, I talked a little bit about this last time.
Yeah.
Chaos. But I mean, it's just the same thing, life, whatever. But no, I agree, Bug. I honestly, you can't take everything like, oh, this is what it is.
Right.
Here forever.
There's stuff, that's.
I mean, like you're saying, like if the line's always evolving or moving or whatever, and we got to grow and adapt with it, which, I believe is the case too. So, I mean, if that's the case, then so is everything else. I mean,
that's because you can't, like, and I say that with like the fact that
Steve, you still there, by the way? All right, go on.
The world, you gotta adapt with how the times are, right? And we're gonna learn things that work and don't work in a different way in 20 years, 50 years, 100 years, because we're exposed to different things. We're formatted a different way. The world is functioning differently. I think technology and, industry and you name it, affects a lot of that. So like, that's why I think there's like we were talking about last week, there's a line, right? But if that never shifts to move with the changes in the world, then you're going to get left in the weeds.
True. P, I'm actually very curious now about, I guess you guys could chime in too, but he was just saying it about, I guess, reincarnation. Because, I mean, I've thought about it, but I guess it'd be nice to hear just, I guess, more of other theories. Because I don't know, I guess, too much about it. And what, I guess, it would entail or not entail, or what, or the thoughts on it are.
So, I think I mainly believe it more because I don't believe in a particular God. I just believe in a higher power. Like, it's
but that's what God represents, though. It's just a higher power.
That's
to anyone, really. Any
he's
religion.
A specific one, though. Yeah, I agree what you're saying, but he's got like a specific set of beliefs and values and morals, right? Mm-hmm. Like just believing in a higher power means
it's an umbrella.
Yes,
you don't have to. You didn't do this one wrong. This one wrong. And that's what I don't believe.
So you don't think that there's one, or there is one?
No, I don't believe there's one at all.
All right, explain that to me, because I don't understand that, though.
One in quantity or one at all, just to clarify.
I believe religion is a bunch of separate chapters for other people to believe in, just as it branches out from eras and everything. I mean, everything's going to get skewed. It's just like that game you played in elementary school. You start one sentence and you pass around the room and it comes back to you, and it comes back completely different.
Telephone,
yeah, that happens over and over and over and over. But the message at the beginning is essentially, like, don't believe exactly what you hear because it's going to change. And how is that not tied to religion?
True. I don't know. I guess what I believe is like, okay, so all the religions are based off the same shit. They just got interpreted different, and then they spread out, and then they were like, hey, mine's the best, mine's the best. That's what I believe. But so what you're saying, though, is there's not just one higher power, one God that created us or a bunch of different things. There's just a multiple, like an umbrella of just some sort of power that just randomly created us, or how does that work?
Well, I'm more in the realm of, I don't know exactly where the message got broken up, but I submit to the fact that I'm not going to die and just be gone. So
okay, but what does that have to do with the higher power, though? I mean, so there's a higher power. If there's one,
let me talk for a second, and I'll tell you.
All right, my bad.
So what I'm saying is that I don't believe that it originated from exactly one point. I believe that I am not going to just disappear, and that there's something above me, but I don't want to believe the fact that I went down the wrong path, as far as like, oh, if I happen to take a left, then I went down the wrong path, and then I ended up at a dead end, and I believed in the wrong thing my whole life, and I'm punished for it. So I believe that as long as I do the right thing, and you kind of know is the right thing as you're going along, you have a feeling when you do something right and you do something wrong that it's right and wrong. So
Yeah.
you have your own free will to kind of dictate that. And if you're tying back into the reincarnation, where I don't believe that it's like, there's the one thing that I like, if someone dies in a car wreck, I don't feel like God had a hand in it. I feel like if he gives us so much free will, and your belief or whatever it is gives you so much free will, then shit happens. And if you got robbed of learning your lessons and you weren't ready, then it's almost like a reset. Like, I believe it goes on and you try again because you weren't done learning those lessons.
So you do believe there's a God?
I wouldn't say a God, because I'm not going to pin it down.
Well, who's judging you though? You said you went down the wrong path, and you're like, I fucked up. I didn't do this right. Who's judging you, or who's that based upon?
It's based upon what we were taught. Like, those things are all taught to us. That it's wrong to do this. It's wrong to do that.
Well, no, I understand. I guess that I'm just saying, like, so if you go and take a long, Timbo's down here and he's like, fuck, I just want to bang a bunch of hookers, and then he fucking dies from AIDS. Okay. Yeah, wrong path. You're saying, like, okay, you don't want to, like, okay, this is my one shot. Give me another shot. Who are you telling that to, I guess?
The higher power. And it's
so
not
is
one
he
person.
A being?
It's not a person. It's not a dictatorship. It's not like a king of the castle. It's just like someone that, and when I say someone, it's like multiple people that are
like
over
a council.
us. Yeah, essentially. Yeah. Thank you. I was trying to think of the word. I was thinking of like Knights of the Round type of thing.
Okay, but, like a council. They're like,
but
hey.
if it's one person, then it can only lead in your favorite band one direction. And that's the way they view it. Like, if you have a huge council that is kind of, in charge of it in a sense. And that's where I think, like, the Greeks kind of had it. Like, they always had, like, the god of the sea, god of
Zeus.
Yeah, like, they had multiple gods, and they always said gods is plural. And then it got lost to become just God.
Well, I mean, that's how that's how a lot of pagan religions are. Mm-hmm. Like, the Vikings thought, I guess,
there's
or god of thunder, and and yeah, like the Greek, same thing. I mean, it's there. I see it on that.
Those are all tied together too.
Yeah.
Like, each god in the different culture kind of represented similar things.
Yeah, they just had different names for them. Ares, Jupiter.
Ares. Yep.
A lot of them had like gods towards like emotions and just certain things so it wasn't just I'm worshiping one person, because then that can just go into like Hitler status. Like, you're just worshiping one dictator and you'll hail Hitler. So it gives you an opportunity to believe in something other than one person, so you can blame it. It's all sorts of gods. So
okay, that's what you're saying.
It's kind of hard to like.
That makes more sense than what I was thinking.
Yeah, it's hard to pinpoint. Like, when I say I believe in a higher power, it's not like I'm just individualizing it to one person as a higher power, because essentially that is just one God.
Yeah.
And that's not what I'm saying, because I don't believe that. But I also don't believe that when I die I'm just going to be gone.
Okay.
It just doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense why I would be here. That's what doesn't make sense. But so, I mean, if this is, so say reincarnation, it is a thing. I guess what I I don't know. I guess what I have trouble with is, so you go and fucking sit on the couch and smoke weed and do fucking nothing in your life. Like, you just get to keep getting sent back, like, forever until you fucking figure it out sometime, or, you know, the stars align, or, like, you know, hey.
What makes that less of a person than what you tried to do? Like, maybe you're just in a wrong spot and then you had to learn that lesson. So does that make you not worthy of another shot until you earn your way into the same level as the gods, I guess?
I mean, maybe. I guess it depends what you would do after. But, like, if you're... I don't know. It's just weird to me. So, say, like, if you go and give it your all and you fucking bust ass and you know, and you're Trump and you fucking build an empire, whatever, right? Or what, like... So, I mean, is there a benefit for living multiple lives or one life? Hey, Steve, maybe turn your cameras sideways. The other way. Your phone. Burgundy.
I love lamp.
Is he
He looks
frozen?
like he's frozen.
You frozen?
Either that or he's incredibly good at being still.
And see,
Nah.
well, like, I don't know exactly the answer to that. I just don't.
But you see what I'm saying, though? Like, so if we look at one chat, I mean, if people go out and do more than people who didn't do anything, I mean, is there an advantage for that for people who are like, hey, I don't give a fuck. I'm going to just do it all I want. Or for other people who are like, man. Or, because I mean, I guess you don't remember, but if you got a million shots, then you could just lounge around until the stars align, and then you're like, I fucking figured it out.
Yeah, but you don't know that you do.
I mean, it's true, but
I think, okay, let me throw this at you guys. So, obviously, complete theory, have no representation, no idea. But to my knowledge, none of us know that we have another life after this. We're reincarnated. We go to heaven. We go to hell. Go to purgatory. We go somewhere else.
wow.
To my knowledge, none of us know what really happens, right? Okay. There's
True.
people that have near-death experiences that can explain certain things, whatever. But at the end of the day, to my knowledge, there's no factual documented thing that says we know what happens. But,
Right.
however, if the world works how I think the world works, say you're a complete shithead, right? You just are the worst person in the world, whatever. Whether you go to hell, whether you are reincarnate, whatever the process is after, I think, like, to some degree, you're kind of going to pay your dues in one way or the other, right? Like, if you're super good, you do all these great things, like, granted, I think that's like the definition of that is kind of skewed, to be honest. But at the end of the day, I would have to think that there's like what a perfect person is, right? Like, if you were Mother Teresa, but I have this feeling that whatever happens, maybe it's nothing. Honestly, maybe it's nothing. Maybe you could be a complete dickhead and there's no repercussions or anything, right? But in my theory, you know, as long as you're a decent human, you try your best, whatever. Like, I feel like whatever happens after, whether it's reincarnation, whether it's you have the option of heaven, hell, purgatory, whatever, I think, like, you're gonna get what you kind of deserve, whatever that is, you know. Like, I don't think Hitler's running around. If reincarnation is what it is, he's not a billionaire, like, chilling on a yacht next to Bezos and, you know, vacationing in the Hamptons and doing, like, all this great shit, right? I feel like he's probably like someone's bottom of their toilet. Like, he was made into porcelain. I don't know.
Anal
just that's kind of how
Bugga's
tried to live my life. It's just like I don't know exactly, and I don't believe enough to, like, invest my time in a religion or a concept or anything. A lot of times it's at the back of my mind, and I just don't even care. But I live my life just as I'll do what I can. I'll do what's best. If I know what's wrong and I morally will just know I'm not going to do that. But at the same time, I'll morally live it like, yes, I'm going to do this because it makes me feel good. It makes me feel like I'm doing the right thing.
Right.
And it's only feeling like I'm doing the right thing just to me, not like, oh, you see that? You see that, God? You see what I did? I opened the. That doesn't go into my head. It's just like if Judgment Day comes and you have to answer for things, and let's say everything that you thought when you died turns into like a boom, here you go. There's what you got to deal with. And you can honestly just be like, oh, well, I wasn't that bad, was I? Like, I didn't fucking murder anybody. I didn't rape anybody. I didn't steal anybody. So, like, what do you got on me?
Yeah, and nobody really knows.
If you are a religious person, and and I'm taking this for, once again, a story that I think represents something. The original sin, right? Adam and Eve, original sin. Everybody's like, how can a baby be born with original sin? Like, that's a whole other topic. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, I think humans are meant to be flawed. Like, we're not meant to be perfect.
And you're meant to fail and do shit.
And I think the challenge is, like, Peter, what you're saying, I 100% agree. Like, it's the depth that you take your flaws, right? Like, if you're out there killing people, robbing, stealing, whatever, abusing your freedoms is totally different than, like, man, I had a white lie, or I cheat on this math test in 7th grade, or whatever the case may be. Like, as long as you're like generally remorseful, trying to be your best, like, but you're also learning from your shit. Like, this, I think that's all that this higher being can ask for, right?
Yeah.
It's a test to see, can you overcome your flaws? Can you learn from your mistakes? And can you try to make the world a better place?
Right. So if that's the case, I mean, how many shots do you get at that? Or do you get one? Or is that a fair thing to get one? Or, I know people are in different spots, but a lot of people who make things out of great stuff are in a shitty spot. I don't know. Nobody really does. I'm just,
right.
It's just kind of my brain, works, or kind of, throw some shit back and forth and kind of see,
the fun part about this is to see the different things that could be like, I bet it would be interesting. It would be crazy if someone has stated exactly what afterlife is, or what this means, like, to be a good person. What are you rewarded with? Like, who knows? Someone probably has stated it, with how many people are in the world, how many different beliefs, upbringings, experiences. Like, to think that has possibly been stated. Right?
And someone just got really high and set it on his couch, and you're like, that's actually it.
Maybe
nailed it.
They were like halfway through the Cheetos bag, and they're like, I think, like, how crazy is it to think that someone could have predicted what actually happens? We'll never know, but
yeah, you never know. I mean,
I'm fishing a little bit.
You never know. I mean, there's so many different, theories. I mean, you could just be, follow the fucking, the Bible or whatever, perfect. And if you did that, cool, then you're the best. Or you could, that doesn't give a fuck. Doesn't matter. You could just be a good person. You could just not have to kill anyone. There could be a lot of things. I mean, there could also be like, David Goggins says this. He says that, he thinks that when you go up to meet your maker, there's going to be this list of like, hey, all these accomplishments of what you could have been. And are you reading about yourself, or are you reading about some stranger? Because he said, I want to be the guy I want to read about, that did a bunch of 10K marathons and, accomplished all this, Navy SEALs and, all this shit like that. And he's like, yeah, I want to go down and be like, oh yeah, that was me. That's what I did. Not be like, oh, who's this fucking badass who did all this cool shit? I mean, that could be an option. I don't know if it's likely or not. Who knows? But
it's like did you fulfill your potential?
Yeah.
When you were put on the earth, did you live up to what you could have been?
Exactly. That's
not who you became.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's a cool theory to kind of think about. You know, it's like, hey, if you did bust through and then you were like, hey, I'm gonna just give it my all, like, doesn't matter, and that's all that mattered, and that was your list, and you did it.
Welcome back, Steve.
Yep, Steve-O, he's back. Maybe.
I think.
Can you guys hear me?
We hear you. We see you.
Yeah, we hear you.
Phone died. Oh, man.
Oh,
That
shit.
was a struggle for a little.
I bet. Maybe you might have to scoot up a little bit to whatever you're on, but yeah.
Hey. Speed up. What do you mean?
Yeah, no, I scoot up a little bit, like get close to it. There you go. You're good. I mean, not like all up.
Don't kiss it.
Get on my.
Nobody's smooching on it, buddy.
Clip it to your hat.
Wow.
No, you're good, man. You're just. But I don't know. There's a lot of different things that it could be. I know Steve knows Goggins. I don't know. You've probably heard that him say that, Steve. I don't know if you heard what I was saying, but
What's that?
about how like Goggins believes like when you go meet your maker, there's going to be a list of like all the things, you know, that you could have done, and you want to go read about yourself, not some fucking stranger who's like, who's this guy? Sounds cool. Like, oh, that could have been you, but you fucking sat on your ass your whole fucking life and didn't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, it's a cool theory for me to think about sometimes. Like, you know, it definitely gives you drive and wants to push you if you do truly believe that. I'm sure that's why he runs fucking 70Ks all the time. But
it's almost like would you recognize yourself being described from somebody else? If someone else described a person, would you accept it and notice that, yeah, that's me? Or would you fight it and be like, nah, fuck that guy. Who's that? And then final answers, that's you. Would you believe it? Even though 100% true, that's who you are. But you're just stuck in your own head of like, no, that's not who I am.
Nah, it's not me, but it's all shit you've done, yeah. I mean, that's a cool thing. I've never actually thought of it that way. I've heard of the, would you accept people, what they say about you in your funeral? But I'm like, people are always fucking nice at your funeral.
Yeah.
They were like, hey, fucking, you know, Joe Schmo is, you know, piece of shit. Fuck that guy. He steals me $200, that pile of shit.
So here's why I didn't like Brad.
Yeah, he drank too much.
And this fucking guy, he didn't believe in reincarnation. So, you know, he's just in the dirt.
You got way too many sayings. Fuck.
None of them patented, by the way. Bunch of floating sayings.
Yeah.
Anyways.
But yeah, it's crazy. I don't know. I like to think about this stuff. I mean, I don't know anything, obviously, but it's cool to think about what might be or whatever. I mean, you know, if reincarnation's there, and that's a thing, which it's very possible, like, cool, but I guess I'm either way. In my mind, like, if any religion is the right one or none of them are the right ones, like, I guess in my mind, like, I'm going to just give it what I got and push like all the time, like to be the best I can be, you know, to do something to help people out or to, you know, do something cool or like, you know, basically like make yourself fulfilled in life by doing something great or awesome or whatever you think is great or awesome. Because, I mean, if you don't come back, then you don't get another shot. So might as well do it now. And if you do, then cool. You won't remember and you might do it again or learn more, and that's awesome. But, I mean, I'd rather just give it everything every time.
So
you know what I mean?
Let's just say that you were about to, like, your influence and everything was about to take off and you had a lot more to give to the world than what your current life gave you. You die in a car wreck tomorrow on the way to work and you have all this shit that is your potential is unlocked, but you end up dying. You go to your maker and it's like, I fucking dropped the ball on that one. Sorry. I didn't see that one coming. So, but you're not done. You have a lot more messages and good you can do to the world that I need you here.
Yeah.
So, you moved along that way.
That gets very conflicting.
How so?
Well, I mean, just like any, majority religions, like, God will, if you're not done with whatever your purpose is, like, he won't take you away. Like they say, when you're done, like, God will take you out. Like, hey, well, you've done everything you have to do. You're done. And that doesn't always make sense or whatever. Like, there's tons of people who die as kids, for sure.
That's your soul. That's not that's not a body.
Yeah, true. And then your soul. And I understand what you're saying. I'm just saying, like, they're very possible. Or when you go up there and you make, it was a little early. Whatever, my bad. I didn't check on that one or whatever. I was grabbing some coffee or something.
Sure. I didn't have my coffee.
Yeah, fuck. I was a little sleepy. But, I mean, they could, he could just deem you like, hey, you're a good dude. And you didn't make it all the way, but I see your intentions and here you go.
But your soul is like your life form. Your body is just the shell that you live in at the time. So when you die, you're not dead. That's the whole basis of religion.
Yeah.
So how does that graduate you to the point where you're just like, oh, okay, well, you did it. Now you can come and be up here. When, in a sense, the whole concept of it is like, well, you never really died. Your physical being died. So why not be able to send you back into another physical being and let you make an impact on the world out here again?
I mean, maybe.
Because
or
it's your same person, just a different shell. You just bought a new car.
True.
You're driving a different car.
I mean, that's a possibility. All right, P, how about this one, guys?
Oh, now we're fucking kidding, dude.
How about this one? What if there's another level after this? What if you just die and then you're like, okay, you were a shitbag, down a level, fuck yourself.
Mm.
All right, you're a good dude. You accomplished a lot of shit. All right, you're going up a level. Oh, you dominated? Do. And then maybe when we reach the top, maybe you create your own worlds. I don't know. But maybe there's like different levels and
it's a chance for redemption.
The Mormon parts of the Mormon religion.
Nah. That thing just is one life, and then you're like, hey.
They have tiers. They literally
have 3 tiers that said, hey, if you lived the perfect righteous life and you were like, hey, Joseph Smith's the man, then you live in the top one, and then you just get fed grapes all day and fucking get, fanned all day is what they believe.
What you just described.
No.
I mean,
I'm talking about like levels. So you do and you dominate and you're like, hey, I'm going to go up to level 2. I'm talking like if there's on a scale to 100. All right, so you got to scoot up. Well, your soul lives again. Maybe not go back to Earth, like reincarnated on Earth, but maybe like, hey, you got 50 levels and you go up to level 2, whatever that level is. Maybe you're, battling in an apocalyptic world, or maybe go dominate the zombies or whatever that has to be, or whatever. Like, who knows? Or maybe you were like, hey, the dinosaurs are back. I don't know, something that I have no idea of, that I just reference things that I've seen. That's all I got. Right? So I want to talk about like Mormons are like, hey, well, you want fanned on grapes? Go here. And then if you're mediocre and you drink beer, then you're on the middle level. And then if you're a pile of shit, then you're just in the bottom. Yeah, that's what they're saying.
Buy shit on Sunday,
you drink some caffeine, beer.
That's where it becomes.
No, I'm talking about like theories, bro. I'm talking about theories. So say this is level 1, right? If you're Hitler, if you're Hitler, you gotta go fucking down here, get paddled for a minute, be like, hey, fuck yourself. Oh yeah, we don't want to know what he gets, but he gets all sorts of pineapple shoved up his ass. It's his soul, I don't know, whatever it is, shitty soul. But I don't know. Just imagine like, okay, you want to, you're a good person. You went up to level 2 or whatever, and then say you're a fucking phenomenal person, whatever, and you're like, who knows, Steve Harvey or whatever. You go fucking level 3 because you're way better. right? Whatever the case is, or you helped a lot of people.
Steve Harvey.
I don't know. Listen, it's all I had right away.
That was your reference for a phenomenal person.
Steve
Listen,
Harvey.
I like Steve Harvey, by the way. Go fuck yourselves.
Clearly.
He helps out a lot of people. I enjoy him.
He's phenomenal.
And he's funny. Are you focusing on the wrong parts? All right.
I know.
Just come with me here. Just come with me.
It was such a great fucking.
Right? So what if, what if you go up to like level 2 though, and then you're like, hey, all right, level 2 is this level, like a video game. There's like another level. I mean, how many times have you ever heard, oh, life's a game, big game? What if it is a game? Maybe you just go to level 2, level 3, 4, 5, and you just work your way up. Who knows? Maybe all the stars are different levels. Yeah, never.
There's so many different things that could be. That's just like the biggest question of life is, what is the point of life? And we just don't know. There's so many different things that it could be. And I don't know where I'm going with that. But
though, is fucking being Hitler.
Yeah,
that's what life's not about.
You have the free will to decide which way you want to take it.
Yeah.
What an easy stance, Timbo.
I mean, maybe. I mean, who knows? Maybe reincarnation is real, and if you're fucking the worst and you sit around, maybe you're just stuck at level 1 for however long it takes to reach level 2.
Maybe it's game over.
I mean, maybe.
Maybe you go down that route, then it's like, all right, you're done.
Yep.
This is where your journey ends.
And then you're like, hey.
That's hell.
I mean, that is a theory. That's what they talk about.
Because if you're not progressing and evolving, then we don't have any business for your soul. It's over.
Maybe they destroy you. Who knows? You'll never know. But maybe not. I mean, maybe because it's just weird. Like the things that fulfill you, helping other people out, like the journey and like attaining goals and stuff. Like those are things throughout history that have like made people feel good, and it's why they've done them. Right. So maybe it's just like, hey, like this is kind of is what it is. And if you keep doing these things, that's you telling your soul telling you, hey, this is the right way to go. Keep doing this type of shit, and then, but if that's the case, the afterlife has to be similar, because if that makes your soul feel good, then you're going to keep doing that. So you always have to progress. So
it's like your moral compass.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know if the end game is creating a world, but your moral compass, yeah.
I mean, everybody has that same little dynamic of when you're doing wrong, you're doing right.
There are some gray areas, but yeah.
There's a little skewed, like, because you could look and be like, how in the fuck would you ever do that? How are you okay doing that? But it's a different scale, because other people look at what you did and be like, how in the fuck could you have done that? And just judge you based on that.
Like Jim Jeffries' little skit.
Oh, fucking Kate.
I don't know if you guys have heard that. Have you guys heard of Jim Jeffries?
Yeah.
Heard of?
I don't know what you're referencing though, but yeah, I know Jim Jeffries.
So he has his little skit. I mean, P listen. When we listen to that, on the way to fucking.
Oh, on the way to fucking
get punked out. Grace. I know, yeah.
Wait, Grace, Steve. That was the fucking worst dumb drive.
The way you guys say fucking.
It's
like
awful.
the same thing. There's like a pause and then an emphasis.
Oh yeah. Well,
where are we? We're going to the fucking. We are going to the fucking Grace.
Because they know it's a terrible place. You're not like going to fucking hell. You're like Grace. Fucking
Grace.
No, so we listened to it and he has his little skit and he's like, I don't know, basically like, his wife's the devil. Can relate. But, he basically goes on and he's like, man, I used to think, man, my dad left me when I was a kid. He left my mom when I was a kid. What a piece of shit. And he's like, no, might have had his reasons.
And milk is sometimes very far away. and you take a while to get there.
Yeah. But I guess, like, you know, I guess there's more of a concept I was getting at is like, you know, you really don't know. You can judge whoever. That's why it's not good to judge. But until you're in it, doing it, you don't know what the fuck's going on. But who knows? I mean, I don't know. That's why right and wrong, I mean, you know, but there's a lot of gray areas, I think, based on experiences.
The
It's
thing
a
is,
tolerance thing.
if you don't have that right and wrong radar going on in you, and you just do things, then you're a fucking sociopath.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
But
like,
I
you're
think
saying,
what
though,
Brad's
like,
saying is your tolerance level. Like,
you can know not to maybe
what-
kill somebody,
guys, do I need to
but
bring up
home
my
defense?
toe? Do I need to bring up my toe again?
Bring up your toe, buddy. Don't bring
your toe, buddy.
your
Just
stubby toe
because, like, no, but for real, like,
He's bringing up the toe.
He's
Would
just
someone-
stubby toe.
what someone does,
Fucking toe.
someone may see as a 9 out of 10 bad thing. Someone else might see it as a 7, right? It's perception. There's a tolerance. Like, it's,
Mhm.
I'm not saying there's still a right and wrong, right? But how severe is it on each side of the scale? And that's where I think you're going to have some tolerance and perception differences to what
Yeah.
Brad's saying is,
Exactly. So I think there's gray areas. Like, if, you know, killing's bad, but if someone breaks into my house and tries to kill me, I'm going to light that motherfucker up and you're going.
with your Glock.
Yeah,
buddy,
big old
it was a
Glock,
fucking Glock, buddy. I just,
My
Alright.
fucking Glock.
all right. Oh,
Timbo
man.
comes with a
Yeah.
bazooka.
Yeah.
This is the Glock, right?
Get out of my house.
Oh, man. Yeah, get out of here and try to load
How do
that
you
up.
keep that?
Well,
How do
this
you
house-
keep that under your bed?
This is not here anymore.
Hold on,
Yeah,
sir.
this
I
house
have
is
to
gone.
get my Glock from under my bed.
Yep.
Don't rob or kill me yet.
Can
I
you
got a
guys help me
Glock.
load this? I can't
Yeah.
understand.
Is that a Glock or you just happy to see me?
Sir,
But
my Glock.
before the Glocks, yeah. But I mean, that's why I think there's gray areas though, because I'm gonna fucking kill you if you're trying to kill me. Too bad.
Well,
it's not
there's
good to kill
clearly
people,
gray
but
areas.
I'm gonna light you up.
Yes, Glock.
There's clearly gray areas with the definition of what a Glock is.
Well,
Yeah, I mean,
for
we all
you
have
maybe,
different-
but they're fine.
Well, I mean, for all of us on the Discord, I mean, Timbo held it like a bazooka.
I know what a
Glock.
Glock is.
Bug out a fucking.
Oh,
12
yeah.
gauge.
Bugs
Ready
the
to roll.
fucking Glock 3000.
I got Glock all over.
Well,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
Hey,
definitely
that's the
different
name
levels
of
Glocks
very
there.
top tier Bugga plug. All right,
The Glock.
Glock
Yeah,
3000.
3000,
You are not ready
you
for
know.
that, Brad.
Oh no,
Unless you've
couple of
been
chicken
exercising.
heads. Oh no, I'm not
Unless you've
ready.
been training.
Couple
Unless
of
you've been
chicken
training
heads,
for
you know what I'm
months.
saying?
But lucky
God.
for you, we have the variety pack.
Yep.
Ah,
You
the
can have all
Glock
sorts
line-
of Glocks.
We have the starter
yeah.
at the Glock 100.
The Gleek.
Expand your way up to the 3000.
Yeah. Is pimping easy?
Hell yeah.
Somehow that is correct. But because we're saying, I don't know, gray areas, who knows? But man, it is what it is. No matter what
it is
No
what
matter
it
what it
is. One in Rome. Carpe diem.
God damn, Brad.
To
it's like
each
a
their
fucking
own.
clone of you.
Listen, he just keeps learning it and keep spitting them out.
Hey, well, learning is from the person who isn't the teacher. All right. I, sir,
I'm not the
am
teacher.
passing this on to you.
I'm the teacher, obviously.
You're passing it on. So
Why?
he
Because
taught
you can grow a
Brad?
beard?
Fuck yeah.
Look at
step one.
Steve. Steve's
This-
beard
you
is
think you're better
taking a
than me?
nap on his
This
chest.
was a life
What do
choice,
you mean?
okay? My lack of facial hair was a life choice I made long ago
In your previous life.
in
Yeah,
my previous
exactly.
life
Don't bring up reincarnation again.
while I was building pyramids.
Would you die?
How many
Yeah.
pyramids have you built, Brad?
Well, who knows? Maybe
Who
4.
fucking knows? Maybe I came back and gave you a wedgie and then built it the next day.
Oh, God, you couldn't catch me to give me a wedgie. Don't.
No, we're bringing athleticism. Turn.
We
Stop
all
recording.
know.
Stop recording.
We all know who's the most athletic here.
All right, we're going to time you guys. Both of you run across your screen. Time it. Who's the fastest?
I'm done.
Smoked it.
Yeah,
I actually did
leg.
it 300 times, and I went back to build a pyramid real
Boo.
I'll tell you one thing. I'd fucking moss all of you.
quick. You'd what? You'd grow moss all over me?
I'd moss you. You got mossed.
I mean, I've seen him do it except Turkey Bowl, but
Jesus.
The only thing you can do that I
Stop
can't is
recording.
you could be the pretzel, baby.
Got that?
No,
right.
we can't.
That's
We
all.
can't end it. You know what we got to
okay.
do.
All right. Do we have
All right.
any big thoughts though on what we've talked about though? Anything we missed or want to bring up and go over? Because we went through a lot, but fuck.
Yeah, I
think we solved it all.
I think we actually figured religion out, so that's good.
Yeah. I
Listen,
know how to spell
another
it now.
question: do we all want
Prayers.
who would be down to take DMT?
Oh, I'd be fucking way down.
I've thought about it before.
I'd have to know my environment that I'm being put in. Like I can't.
I
just
don't
be a
know if it's
loose cannon.
mushrooms.
I'd actually
I need
ask my
a-
boss.
Yeah.
Steve, is it all right?
Yep. I
We
don't know if
take
it's
DMT?
I don't know if it's illegal, but I don't know if you
All right,
want to incriminate yourself.
If you all look under your desks right now, to your left,
Oh shit!
There's an
God,
envelope.
yeah.
Oh fuck! Fuck.
Which
How'd
has
you get
absolutely nothing in it.
yeah, when you
But
saw me run across
DMT
your
be wild here.
Damn, I guess you are faster than us.
Yeah, I've heard it's pretty crazy.
But do you know about DMT? Steve, do you know about DMT?
Yeah.
yeah,
I've heard some pretty wild shit about it.
God damn, that's the next bonus on our check, Brad. Some DMT.
Did you know
Sure not.
our bodies produce it as humans?
Well,
It's in us.
Isn't that how most drugs work?
I mean,
Maybe.
but,
isn't
They
that
all
like,
react to some sort of chemical in our
but
body.
they
I believe
call it they
'cause-
call it the I don't know I forget what they call it. Fuck, leave me. But they call you produce it in whatever gland or whatever. Like, but that's like your
your left
your-
gland.
probably
soul,
your memory
your soul,
gland,
or.
buddy.
God damn it! But I
You
don't know.
walked right into that one. you
I
big
know. Fuck, Jesus. But
titty. I'll drink to Brad's memory gland. Cheers, boys.
cheers.
Right. Cheers, boys.
Brad's memory gland.
God damn.
What
But
a titty.
I don't know. I don't really like hallucinogens much because they freak me out sometimes. But I don't know. I would debate on taking DMT because it's wild, and they say you just, the stuff that you see, like you heard, it's like life changing. You hear Joe Rogan talk about it, and it's like life changing. Crazy.
I'd say if you can't spell it, you shouldn't take it.
Yeah, it's only
That
3
should be
letters.
a rule number one.
It's an odd rule, but okay.
D.
That
stand for. Let me
clearly-
see if I can spell this. What does it stand for?
The joke, and it's sad
Sound
I
it
have to
out.
explain, is if you can't spell 3 letters that literally are the word, you probably already fucked up enough that you shouldn't take it.
I'll take it.
Guys, I'm not good at jokes, all right? Fuck off.
God damn,
God,
Bug. You
man.
fucking just killed the room.
Yeah, man.
Don't-
Come on, bro.
Don't challenge my spelling, Bug.
Come on, Bug. Read the room.
Hey, just because I have a higher intellect than you, scrubs, Steve, I'm
Nice.
setting you aside from that comment. I'm sorry for these guys.
Yeah, I was about to say, Steve would punk you up.
Sad thing is
Steve and
we
I's
all tried to
intellect
spell
is
it.
Listen,
top
we're gonna
tier.
have to go on like a business talk on podcast because I'd love to hear a lot of things Steve had to say. I mean, I know we work together, but we talk a lot about like work shit rather than like, I don't know, a lot of how to or whatever.
How to Build a Pyramid by Steve.
Yeah, Steve couldn't figure that one out. God.
Tell you.
Steve, what would you like to
Pyramids.
talk about? What would be a topic that would interest you that you'd be like, fuck, I'd come back on for that shit.
I honestly, I enjoyed the hell out of it. I'd come back on for whatever.
Yeah, so
Atta
that's-
boy,
good.
but if you had to choose,
Like you're the expert, right? Or like this is like you're gonna
No.
lead it. You're gonna like walk us through like your thought process, and we comment off of your direction, right?
yeah, would that be like business? Like
How to grow a beer.
how to grow a business?
well,
Not a beer. That's lost cause.
we all suck at it. Let's be honest. Except Brad's second place. Bug.
I'm up to 7 hairs.
Bug, you're an apprentice.
I'm up to 7 hairs, boys.
Yeah.
It was
Nice.
windy today, so I lost them.
But
4 of them blew off.
Yeah.
see, would you like do like how to build a business, like maybe like your struggles or like being a leader, like how you got there, like all the shit you've read and learned from, or like all like the different leaders you've learned from in the past and like learn how to write it down, or talking about a book?
And what would interest me is all the great men in the history of the United States, the world, leadership, all that we can all learn from and take from them in our everyday and professional lives.
Yeah.
People we can learn from.
Oh,
That's kind of shit that really interests me.
Like Franklin
learn
D?
from your mistakes.
your boy.
No, Theodore Roosevelt is my
Theo.
What
guy.
about my great uncle,
Yeah.
JFK, baby?
All right.
Yeah, what a
Yeah.
story.
Yeah, things like that. Just the people that have led us or led multiple people and change
Lives.
the world as they,
For the better.
that's
Ideally.
That's
would
not
be
bad.
one that-
That's a good topic. I'll add
That's
that
pretty
to the-
good. All right, Steve, who are your top 3?
my top 3.
Yeah, people who've changed
Uh,
the world the most or lives the most.
Joseph
like
Biden.
for me, or what I think for my general.
Like, who would you be your top 3? Like,
Who interests you the most?
yeah,
Like,
they changed your perspective at least. Besides Joe Biden.
Theodore Roosevelt, Dwight Eisenhower, and then let's see. I kind of have for Marcus Aurelius. He's a Stoic philosopher and the Emperor of Rome. Those are kind of the top 3 that I read about and
Okay.
look into, I guess.
Like like super leaders.
Yeah, just the ones that I look to the most, I guess.
well, because you come from like an interesting background where your dad has, had this company, and your whole life, that company was just a part of your life growing up, and now you're kind of in that role of it. So it's almost like you were preparing for the situation.
Yeah.
So,
In a way, yeah.
Well, that's what I was always curious about. Like, I don't know if you ever want to talk about like if you chose that role, if and we can get into this, definitely another time. But like, you don't think you chose it?
I think it was in me. It was just ingrained in me that one day I would be part of DC.
Yeah.
and you got to see the struggles that he went through from your whole growing experience, from a child to an adolescent to a teenager to a young adult to an adult. Like,
Yeah,
you saw all.
I didn't look at it that way till I took over a big portion of it.
But that doesn't mean you didn't absorb it.
I disliked DC growing up because it kept my dad away from all my shit.
Exactly. And that's perspective.
Yeah, and now I know why. But I have the opportunity to not follow that. I will coach my kids' stuff. I will go to my kids' games while doing the business. But it's because of what he did that I can do that now.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's
I would really like to dive more into that. I think.
Yeah.
I think that's a great topic to see. You hear so many times like you know, like because of my upbringing or because of like who my dad is or my idol is, like I am who I am today, and I'm being better or doing better, or I shaped myself a little, I tweaked it, right? And like just kind of seeing that process and that path, like I would definitely love to, you know, have that as one of our weekly things, just to kind of see how that kind of comes to fruition.
Well, those lessons are like what you kind of mold yourself on as a, especially as a parent. Like you always want what's better for your kids, and you'll say it a million times, like, I won't let my kids grow up the same way I did. And then you say that, and then you think about it, and it's like, well, I learned a lot from how I grew up.
Yeah.
And it wasn't necessarily bad, but here's what influenced me, and here's what I hold on to, even if it's like at an 8-year-old level. And but you remember it for whatever reason. And towing the line of, I remember it because I was 8 and it sucked, but it taught me a lesson, and it made me a better person, you know, kind of moving forward. It's like, is that lesson the same lesson that should be taught to my kids, even though it sucked? Do I let them endure it themselves? Or do I try and approach it differently and make sure that they don't have to go through that exact lesson, but try and teach it to them at the same time? Yeah. Kind of like you were saying, Steve, it's like you're, you know.
Yeah, don't do stuff your dad did.
Yeah. Because it
affects, not exactly that.
But this is one of the reasons, like, I really love doing this show, is to like talk about this, but also I guarantee there's so many people out in the world that are going through these struggles now that you might have the answer to, or you might say your piece, your story, and it might really resonate with them, and it might give them clarity on which route they should go. And I feel like that's, you know, one of the reasons I would love to talk about this stuff is because, you know, everything it can do for the rest of the world and whoever else is listening or will listen. And, you know, how many ever people can help? Maybe one, maybe helps one of us, you know, you never know. But, you know, just putting it out there and talking about this stuff, you know, the stuff you did wrong or you think you did wrong and the stuff you think you did right. And, you know, everything in between on basically a journey on, you know, like, hey, I didn't like when my dad did this. I'm going to change this. You know, he may have not shown up to a bunch of my games, so I'm going to show up to all of my kids' games. You know, just making little transitions and how to even do that. Like, what do you do? Do you do time management? You know, like, do you sacrifice certain things? Like, a lot of that is super interesting and I think would be awesome for, you know, the podcast.
Yeah. I say we chalk that up as a, whether it's next week or whatever, we make it happen.
Yeah, we can do it whenever. I think it's an awesome topic.
Yeah.
I love shit like that. Perfect. And, yeah, we're going to be firing everything up soon. Getting it out there.
Boys, the capper, cheers.
Yep, cheers. If you didn't like the show, go fuck yourself.
What a send-off.
Until next time.
Fuck off.
Next time.